My newest set of clients that just came on board could not believe the difference that just make a couple small tweaks to their financial plan, some of their investments, actually had on their ability to retire on time. So this is a story about Bob and Diane. They are in their early 60s, and like a lot of people, they've worked really hard, raised a great family, and saved. They've done a good job saving into their 401k, and they've gone the last 40 years putting money into that 401k. And they came to me and they said, can we retire? Can we retire? We have $1.6 million and we want to stop working completely. We want to know that the money's going to be there until the day we die. We don't want to run out of money before we die. And we also just don't really want to make any mistakes. So in this video, I'm going to go over the couple tweaks that we made, how that improved their retirement, how a lot of my retirees think about retirement and their money. And then I'll actually get into some of the software where we can look at the effect of just making a couple very small changes can have on a financial plan, and a couple's ability to have the peace of mind and confidence knowing that their retirement is going to take them all the way to the end. So in this video, we're also going to cover things like a reasonable withdrawal rate, how much money you can pull out of your buckets on a month-to-month basis, you know, a little bit of Social Security planning to make sure you don't pay any unnecessary taxes and kind of maximize the amount of Social Security you get. So if I haven't met you yet, my name is Chris Reed. I'm the owner of Capital Partners Wealth Management. As a chartered financial consultant who helps my clients day in and day out, I believe they deserve a lot of my time. So if you don't think you need a family CFO, but you find these videos helpful, just go ahead and subscribe and you will get notified anytime I put something else up, and it might help make your financial life a little bit better. Here's some of the data from these clients that just came on board. I obviously changed the names for their privacy, and this kind of gives you a general high-level view of where they've gotten to. Both 63 years old and have done a great job saving. This is kind of what most people are familiar with. They've got their IRAs with about $1 million in them, a Roth with 200,000, a taxable account. So they had extra money, they didn't know what to do with it, so they just put it into a taxable account. And then they've been sitting on cash. $100,000 may seem like a lot. I actually run across it all the time. With the way politics are in the economy, people don't know if the market's going up or down. So a lot of times fear drives people to make those investment decisions that can lead them to miss out on some of the upside, even though there are some kind of safe ways to still invest. So that's one of the pitfalls that I try and help people avoid is there is something called the ABC plan, and that's just anything's better than cash. So that's the bucket. I work just on a faucet bucket drain plan for all my clients' financial plans. Now, in retirement at age 67, the faucet that they're going to turn on is Social Security. So Bob's going to pull about $2,500 per month. Diane's going to pull about $1,500 per month. But like a lot of my other clients who've done a good job saving, who work in relatively high income fields, they're getting in their early 60s and going, hey, we're young and healthy now. We don't necessarily want to wait till we're 67. If you can go run and pick up your grandkids and play at a park when you're 63, I don't know about any of you, but after 20 years in the Marines, I had 2 back surgeries. I know my body is like, it's kind of starting to take a toll. So when you get into retirement, you really want to enjoy those go-go years in your retirement. So their question was, hey, with this money that we've saved, we're only 63 and we can't start drawing Social Security until we're 67. I mean, they can start drawing at 62, but I did some planning for them and we'll maximize it by taking it at 67. And here's the amount of money that needs to come out of our buckets for the rest of our lives. We have about $1.6 million. These numbers may not be specific to you. And if you want to get an actual idea of what your specific scenario will be, there's a couple quizzes and links below. You can fill out a pre-filled form if I have time. I will get to it eventually. I'm just pretty busy these days. So the drain on this bucket is your expenses. Now, this couple needs about $8,000 in the bank account to spend every month between what I call the MUG plan, mortgage, utilities, and groceries, and then fun stuff like going out to restaurants and traveling. Got to take into account taxes, what their taxation is going to look like, not only now, but in the future. And that leaves us with about $10,000 to $12,000 per month we need to be able to take out of that bucket of $1.6 million, at least till they're 67, at which point it'll be offset by Social Security. And this assumes a 3% inflation rate. Really, what's the purpose of all that? It's not to die with the most money in the bank. It's about travel to go to places they've always wanted to go. It's about going to see their grandkids. It's about enjoying, again, those younger retirement years in their life. They had a plan, and we've talked about it. They want to do some gifting. They're very passionate about some nonprofits. And when they're in their 70s and their 80s, when maybe we're not spending as much on vacations, they would like to make sure they can give money where their values lie. So that's one thing we're planning for. They also talk to me a lot about long-term care and taxes near the end of their life. again, when they grew up, their parents didn't do a great job saving. And so when their parents, one set of parents actually had someone who got early onset Alzheimer's, that put a big financial strain on Bob and Diane having to come in and really help pay for that. So they really wanted a solution to take care of that kind of thing. They also have raised some really good kids who are going to earn a whole bunch of money later on in their lives, and we're going to help them avoid putting a big tax bomb into their kids' financial life by doing a bunch of tax planning. So next, I'm just going to go through the actual numbers. This is kind of the left brain, the things that we want to do. So all this leads us to what we need for returns. Now, we always start with an income plan in retirement planning. So inside that income plan comes the investment plan. That's the actual tools we use to help people get and live that life they want to live with a level 10 confidence that everything's going to be okay. So most people are pretty familiar with a basket full of well-diversified mutual funds. There is a whole financial world beyond that. And we really try and use that for income, growth, and safety. So the point here is not to maximize return, it's to fit the tool for the job we want. So for instance, in the income plan, rather than a typical financial planning scenario of 4.5%, with the market where it is and some tools that are available today, let's say we can get 7% out of our passive income bucket. Now, this shouldn't really be too susceptible to market fluctuations. It should be pretty steady and almost guaranteed. Then we have a growth plan. Now, if we're not using everything for income, in the good years in the growth plan, maybe we make 15%. And in the bad years in the growth plan, maybe we lose 10%. But the point is that we can afford a little bit of loss there so that we can kind of try and maximize that upside over time, because we're not hopefully really going to use this growth bucket. And then the safety bucket is used to backstop the entire plan. It's to say, hey, if the income has to come down, if we go into a protracted down market that lasts 13 years like the S&P 500 did from the year 2000 to the year 2013, if we lose money down here, we're not going to lose anything. We need to guarantee no loss here. But if the market does well, hey, maybe we can make 7% down here. That right there, to get into kind of how some of the sausage is made, if you look here, there are things that are available, like a certificate of deposit to the S&P 500 that's guaranteed never to lose, backed by the federal government. So you can see that there's no loss potential there, but you can make up to 21% over that 3 years. So that's a really good safety bucket. That's an example of one of the different tools you can use. Once we get that investment plan all lined up, what we want to do is make sure that we're adding value to that financial plan. So we want to be adding actual money back into the plan that wouldn't have otherwise been there. And we want to minimize the amount of unnecessary taxes that we pay, again, on Social Security or when we pass that money on. So here's just a quick example of what those couple little tweaks can do to a financial plan. So here's Bob and Diane's current financial plan. So if we take a look, here's all their assets growing, typical stock market, almost 100% of their assets are at risk, which you can see right here. Luckily for them, even using a standard financial plan with just some low rates of return, 6%, 5.5%, this financial plan with that target rate of return still gets them to age 95 before they run out of money. Now, that still gets into age 93 before they run out of money. Some people may be okay with that. Some people might know they're not going to make it that long. In my financial plans, I like to bomb-proof them so that we know no matter what happens, they're going to make it. By just rearranging some of the tools in that financial plan, the little changes that can have a big effect, or as someone put it to me once, small hinges swing big doors. If we can come into that scenario and put some new tools in there, and rather than getting that standard 6% rate of return on some of their investments, so for instance, the safe money here, rather than making 0, if we can make 4, if we can make 7 instead of making 6, you can see that given the same expenses, not only does that eliminate the red line, which we don't want in a financial plan, but it shows us having $1.3 million at age 100. So that's the kind of effect that that can have. Now, so this is the actual financial plan for Bob and Diane, and it's a little more complex than this, but we actually decided they're probably going to sell and downsize that house later on in life. That's going to create a cash flow of about $400,000 into their financial plan. We were able to actually come in and plan not only for their living expenses of $4,000 per month, but was able to take care of their long-term care expenses. And given all those little tweaks that we made, have around $2.1 million at age 100. So the upshot of all this is something that probably isn't a great thing for me to say as a financial planner, is that your financial plan, my financial plan, the financial plan of all my clients is 100% bomb-proof, solid, awesome until you hit the print button. As soon as you print that financial plan off, tax codes change, the market goes up, the market goes down, the government changes, new products and tools come out. There's always something that can be adjusted over time. And that's really one of the main benefits of continued financial planning is you have to be able to adjust your tool set to match your current situation. I have a lot of clients who go into retirement thinking that they're going to spend more than they actually do, so we can adjust from there. I also have a lot of clients that go into retirement maybe not thinking they're going to spend as much as they are, and then they find themselves having to rearrange some of their other tools in order to address those needs. So if you're interested at all in learning how my team can help coordinate your overall financial plans, if you've ever wanted to talk to someone about some ideas to maybe give you a little bit more peace of mind, shave a couple of years off your retirement, you can click below into one of the quizzes and fill them out, or you can just click on my website and see if you qualify for a phone call. Honestly, I didn't join the Marines for the money. I didn't become a police officer for the money. I like helping people. If you need 5 minutes for quick advice, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, if you want to take these videos, you can subscribe to this channel, or you can take the videos to your financial planner and maybe they can put another tool in your toolbox that helps you live a little bit better financial life. So thanks and have a great week.